Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Can we guess what day it is today? Today's a glorious push day. Why is it a glorious push day? Because we are reintroducing some lifts that I have not done in a little while. So today's session is likely going to be either a low incline Smith or a flat Smith machine press. I am rotating the dumbbells out for time being because the dumbbells that we have here at the gym are amazing, but they are very, very thick. And any of you that have met me probably have seen that I've got really thick, fat hands and quite short fingers. So gripping the dumbbells for me is the limiting factor, which then prevents me from having enough stability to be able to generate enough force to actually get closer to failure using dumbbells. In short, guys, it's a good idea to rotate a movement out if you are not able to take that movement to failure because of stability rather than anything else. So I will hop back on a machine and run that up now. And to be honest, with me starting prep 24th of March, which is 2 months, it's an ideal time now for me to iron out my exercise selection that I will use for prep. So any changes that I make to my training program now, I'm also going to be geared and tailored towards the contest prep, and then being able to run the movements consistently throughout the duration of prep. So push day today. I will start with a lateral raise movement to begin with today, just 2 working sets. Normally I would do it at the end. However, knowing that I am starting with a flat Smith machine press, I want to make sure that I am a little bit warmer going into it. So just 2 working sets on the Atlantis side lateral. Then we will go into the Smith. Then I will follow that up with a low incline prime. Then the prime dip machine. Then I've got a line cuff lateral. And the reason why I am doing a line cuff lateral before my cable flies is more so to give my pecs a little bit of a break to recover. So off the back of the line cuff lateral, then I will actually go into my cable fly and then tricep push down to finish. So 17 total working sets for today. Moderate volume, it's not high, it's not low. However, I do not waste energy and time taking any unnecessary warm-up sets. So on paper, it looks like a lot, but it really isn't, because I'm not the type of trainer that does pyramid sets. I literally do just enough warm-up sets to get me to my working weight safely, and then I attack my sets. So this volume is very much brought in, whereas sometimes you see guys that say they have 18 working sets or even 12 working sets, but every single exercise they do like 3-4 working sets before their actual sets. So it all depends on what you actually deem as effective volume, so to speak. In my opinion, and again, that's just my opinion, if you want to get the most out of your training, you need to focus on quality work and quality sets, which means that attacking your heavy sets has to be the priority. Ultimately, it's mechanical tension that builds the muscle tissue. It's not a pump. It's not the overall number of sets. It's the quality of the sets and the tension you are able to generate through the muscle. The higher the exposure to tension, more tissue breakdown, more potential for growth. As you go home, eat protein, sleep, and adapt. Recover, come back and grow. So that's pretty much my muscle building spiel. Anyway, guys, time to get warmed up. I'm going to use a little bit of a massage going on my pecs just to get the blood flow going, nothing special about it. 2 sets of planks, some rotation work, and I'll get stuck into work. The warm-up sets for exercise number 1. Let's get it.
Is this going to be going forward? What are you doing? Just delts first?
So I always like to play around with different variations of workouts, see what I can actually do to improve them. And then if it works, I stick with it. If it doesn't, I don't. One thing I found with pressing, I feel better going to my presses after doing lateral. I just feel more safe, feel more stable. And this goes against the norm, as generally the thought process is that if you do anything before a compound exercise, you have less stability. For me, it's different. I go into a press after lateral work feeling more comfortable. So for me, individually, that's the right way to go. Oh! Why lateral raise first? On paper, it makes the most sense to go into compound movement first. You want max load exposure. You don't want to be pre-fatigued going into a compound lift. However, if doing a lateral raise for you feels better and allows you to not only go into your compound lift with more confidence, but also the blood that you have around your shoulder allows you to have more safety within your pressing, then do it. For some people, it might actually have the opposite effect. It might make them weaker. For me, individually, I feel better going to my presses after doing a lateral raise. I feel more stable, I feel safer, I feel warmer to a degree, and I feel more physically and mentally ready to perform. So if it takes away 1% of the loading off from the bar, but it feels better for me, makes sense to do it. The beauty of this game, guys, is you have all these different opinions from experts. I'm not calling myself an expert, by the way. I'm just sharing my own journey. But you have all these different opinions that you should take on board. But the main thing is you need to try this out for yourself and see what feels better for you. Then apply it with your training. It's as simple as that. And if you have a coach, then let them do the guesswork for you, like I do with my clients. Powerful, come on. More confidence, come on. 2, 3. More confidence, come on. 1 more rep. Up, leave it there, leave it there, leave it there, leave it there, leave it there.
So what are you doing then?
Flat Smith. I might even try that bench though. That bench felt really good. I've got a new Cybex bench. Yeah. We'll see.
People at home might be thinking, does that not take away from your set?
Nah. If you feel tight anywhere, the only thing that a massage gun will do is it will just give you a little bit more range, in my opinion. So if you do feel like something feels a little bit tight, get the massage gun on it. So his left pec feels tight, get the massage gun on it, rub it for a little bit, see if you can get more range safely. So it's as simple as that. That's exactly what deep tissue work does. Like momentarily just releases more range. It doesn't do anything magic. Let's go. of the smartest things I've learned from Jordan Peters for all of my press work is avoiding taking any 50-50 reps. This is my first time back on the Smith after a very long time. The first few sessions, it's always skill acquisition. The load today felt pretty comfortable. However, I did not want to push it into the realm of potentially taking reps that are going to be super hard to actually finish. So in essence, I'm keeping a rep away from true failure, even 2 reps away from true failure for time being, until I get a little bit more efficient at this exercise. Then once I do, the progression will be so much greater. If I was to take an additional rep or 2 today, that probably could have, but it would have meant that I'm having to really exhaust myself to complete the reps. There's no way in hell that I would be able to progress this lift again going into the next session when this lands again. So if you are struggling with progression for all your press work, the fact is you're probably taking too many force reps and too many reps that are not there. You've got to be patient and you've got to be strategic with your progression. And sometimes that means holding back and then knowing when to push and pull. In short, clean reps only for all your press work if you want to maximize your progression. Right there.
People with training partners, yeah, it's very easy to just kill each other off and not understand that, like,
yeah, but that's generally people that don't really know how to train.
Yeah.
It's like, when someone doesn't know how to truly train to failure, it might look like they're training to failure from the outside in, but realistically, they're nowhere near close. So when you truly learn how to train properly and train hard, you then get to a point where the issue isn't training hard. The issue is taking it past the point where your sets are actually productive. There's an argument of, well, if you want to do that, lower your training volume, but is that going to actually yield more muscle growth? Probably not. So it's a fine balance that you have to tread between sending your sets, making sure that the effort is there without taking your sets constantly past failure or trying to do the reps that are just simply not there. That's one thing I've learned this year especially, and it takes a lot of maturity with training. It's taken me 10 years to be able to do this, is stopping the set at a point where I know that I've exhausted my muscle, and attempting another rep is then going to lead to breakdown of my execution, which then means I'm not actually training the target area anymore. So there's a difference between training to failure and beyond failure. Beyond failure for me is when my execution breaks down and I'm using my entire body to complete the reps. That's not the reps I'm taking. Bodybuilding, not powerlifting. Oh, oh. Feels great.
Heavy?
Yeah, heavy, but it feels great. This is going to be prep exercise selection.
Do you not think it's not, there's no inclines?
What do you mean?
Well, you're doing flat.
That's a low incline.
Is it incline enough?
For me, it is. Depends on your sternum angle. If you have a flat chest, right? So if your rib cage goes like this, which yours does, you will need a higher incline. Mine and Mark's rib cage, it's not flat, comes out. So for us, a flat press ties in a lot of incline. Like for me, coming away from the flat press there, like my entire pec's lit up. So low incline work for me is all upper pec. For me, high incline work is more so like clavicle and front delt. So when I program in lifts, to a degree, I program it off the athlete's structure. And when I do program lifts to myself, I do go off what I feel the most. So for me, flat press, it lights up my entire pec. All of the flat presses, especially on the machines as well. Incline work is more so, you know, upper shelf, but I never like to go a high incline either, unless I'm trying to specifically train like the clavicle and front delt.
As if you're a little scrawny dweeb like me.
Then it doesn't really matter, just fucking train. If you're small, just fucking train. Don't think about this. Oh! Let's talk a little bit about ranges of motion. Generally, deeper you go, the better. And that applies for everything in life. Go as deep as you physically can across all of the exercises. Now, there is still camps, right? I've got people that preach excessive ranges of motion, and we have people that preach active range of motion. Now, whether you think passive or active range of motion plays a massive role, one thing you cannot argue against is that if you expose yourself to very deep ranges of motion, not only would reduce the risk of injury, but you are exposing yourself to ranges of motion that are the most stimulatory when it comes to building muscle. So, as a rule of thumb, guys, prioritize the stretch portion of the rep across majority of your exercises. It will definitely pay dividend in not only the return on investment that you get with trying to grow muscle, but also injury prevention, range of motion, mobility, and generally bulletproofing your physique. Show me someone that can really lift heavy with deep ranges of motion, and I'll show you someone that isn't rarely injured and has well-developed musculature. Go deep, go hard. Write it down.
I know you talk about, you kind of answer this anyway sometimes, but everybody thinks that they should be doing some sort of length and partials, and I've never ever seen you do any length and partials ever, and obviously that's because you're going beyond failure at that point.
So, length and partials, should you do them or not? It's a nice way to extend your set, but if you are already training hard enough with adequate training volume, extending your sets doesn't really serve a purpose. Everything I do in the gym, I want it to be measurable and quantifiable. So adding length and partials, for example, it just adds another variable that is very hard to track accurately. And then there's an argument of, yes, it doesn't have a major demand when it comes to recovery and isolation exercises, but would it not just be more productive to add another quality set if you require more volume? Probably yes. If you are pushed for time, then I would probably argue if you need more volume within a shorter space of time and a shorter session, then maybe consider length and partials or even supersets, etc. But if you're pretty strong, if you're already training with adequate training volume, in my opinion, I just don't see the need for length and partials. You should already be training with full range of motion and a large focus on the stretch position of the rep. So, in essence, train at full range of motion makes the most sense, and even from the new research that's coming out now, doesn't really make much difference doing length and partials or not. So do whatever you like the most. I like full range of motion, so I'll continue doing that and continue making progress year on year. That's what we're here for. Write it down.
Seeing as you're a big fan of boxing,
Yep.
would you ever recommend boxing as a form of cardio or not?
It'd be very demanding. When I boxed, I weighed in at like 60 kilo. Obviously, I was young. Well, the weight went up to like 66, I think 68 maybe, towards the end when I was like 15. I started training bodybuilding, and by the time I was like 21, 20, I was competing like 88 kilo. So I added like 20 kilo on pretty quickly. Boxing is very demanding. I don't think, it's an amazing form of cardio, yes, but for bodybuilding especially, it's not the best. Especially when people don't know how to punch, they'll often tear their bicep because people try to hook like this. It's like, that's not how you hook. Hook more like this, so it's like, there's no real pressure on your bicep when you actually hook properly. So it's like, bodybuilders stick to what you know. Don't try and fight because you literally can't. I don't think bodybuilders actually realise how vulnerable they actually are. Like, and I don't mean just because they can hurt themselves easily, but especially when it comes to any altercation, like people think that bodybuilders can fight. They cannot, trust me. A lot of my friends are still box. They're like guys that probably weigh like 160 pounds. I don't know for a fact they would easily fucking knock bodybuilders out that are like 280 with a jab.
Side stimulation, 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 stimulation. Stimulation, inside stimulation, stimulation, stimulation.
Since I was 11 when I started, I'm 30 now.
11?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. Looking for.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Man.
Have you just started, yeah?
Yeah, today in this game, yeah.
Yeah?
It's your game, right?
Yeah.
It's a good gym.
Yeah. You'll get there, bro, you'll get there.
Okay.
Consistency, mate, consistency. Right, that was awesome. Very happy with that today. Well, that was a very good session today. Very happy with it, to be honest. Just need to keep this moving now. Feel like we've got a lot of momentum. Now we just need to keep it going. Don't decide now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
when you're older, then it's a choice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, mate, you look fucking great for your age, so you've got a lot of progress they can still be making.
Thanks, bro. Man, I don't know, man. I want to be like your size. I will.
But you will, what you think is though, you will, over time. It could probably potentially be even bigger,
Yeah.
but take your time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. I'll take the time. Okay.
Be patient and don't listen to anyone fucking stupid. Don't rush it.
Is
Just-
it ideal to train 6 weeks a day, six days a week? Or
Now you can probably get away with it, but
Yeah.
I'd probably do 3 days on, 1 day off.
yeah,
So you get a little bit more rest.
yeah, that makes sense. So you were 11 when you started training.
Yeah, I started boxing at 11. Started boxing at 11, I boxed till I was like 15, 16. Then I started bodybuilding when I was like 16. Smashing it, bro. Stay patient. Right, guys and girls. That is a wrap up. Tremendous session today. Progress across the board, and progress certainly makes me happy. So, definitely a good one in the books, and hopefully enjoyed it. Some cues and tips for you to take away into your own training, and hopefully you can benefit from it. Guys, thank you so much for today. I appreciate you all. Please like, share, subscribe. Do all the fun stuff, support the channel. I'll see you again soon.